for joining to our little Sitecore meetup, online and in person. We're a couple of people here in the room, and we'll have today two presentations. Introduction into Sitecore content serialization, presented by Gerhart, who works at ddroidd, and another presentation by Vlad Iobagiu, who is a freelancer solution architect, introduction to Moosend. And today our sponsor is ddroidd, who's hosting us for the in-person event in their office, in their location. That's that. We have, you can join the Sitecore community by joining Slack. We have the links here, and the Sitecore Stack Exchange, where you can ask lots of questions, figure out answers, and yeah, talk with the community members. Our local community is here in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. We have meetup URLs, Facebook. We will put the presentations in GitHub. We have a URL for that, and we record this session and we'll put it back on YouTube so everyone can learn more and more information from everyone. And yeah, let's get started with Gerhart.
So hello everyone. So I will make a presentation about introduction into Sitecore content serialization in Cluj. So the brief agenda about what I present. I will present a brief history about Sitecore serialization history. After that, I will start with Sitecore content serialization. I will present the both tools, the CLI, which is the headless, and also the GUI friendly, similarly for TDS, the SVS, Sitecore for Visual Studio. After that, I will present a bit comparison between Unicorn and Sitecore content serialization. And as a plus, it will be presented also a code generation with glass mapper models using Leprechaun. So let's start it. So Sitecore serialization history. So initially the Sitecore content and everything, it was serialized as .items. And for this, it was introduced by a third party, the TDS, which is a paid UI tool. And this, it was serializing every items as .item extensions. After that, it was introduced the helix principles with Sitecore, and with this principle also the Sitecore habitat. And in habitat, it was serialized the items using Unicorn and with YAML extensions. This is also a third party implemented by Rainbow and Kamsar. For this Sitecore 10 release, they wanted to have a common tool. And for this, they merged practically TDS, Unicorn, and YAML, and it was created the Sitecore content serialization. So about Sitecore content serialization, the main things and changes about this, that the configurations are JSON files. So when you use it, you don't need to, I mean, it's not restarted the server at every serialization as Unicorn case. In example, there is configuration file for the entire solution, and also for every feature foundation or project modules, there are separate configurations, similarly to Unicorn, and yeah, also supports modular architecture. The setup for Sitecore content serialization is really straightforward. In your Sitecore instance, you just need to install the Sitecore management service. It's a Sitecore package. After that, on your solution, you can just execute some command lines, enumerated here, but I will present a demo how they are working. In this example, if you execute these tools, it will be installed the Sitecore content serialization, the 3.0, the latest version. In case of you want the older one, the 2.0, then you don't need to execute the last two because it was included then. So just an example to show you, practically as you see in the solution, there is a Sitecore.json file, which is the solution's configuration. This is generated when you install the module. Practically what you can need to configure, practically the wildcard for the modules. So where it will be practically the configurations for every project. And also similarly for Unicorn, you have default max relative item path length. It's working on the same way. And also if you want to rename practically the serialization folders. Project module configuration. As you see in the Solution Explorer, every project has a separate module.json file. And there is an example of configuration where I practically introduce the templates and the renderings for navigation. About this configuration, so there are multiple properties which you can set up. There is the name, which is practically you can set up a custom name. I prefer to add this path practically, like master Sitecore templates feature, because in this case it will be created subfolders for every practically for master Sitecore templates, and it will be similar for Unicorn. There is also the path, which is the physical path in Sitecore for the item. There is the scope. Practically you can, because you can serialize single item, item and children, item descendants, and descendants only. There you can set up the database, master or core. This is optional from default. As you see, there is the master. You can edit here also max relative path length if you want to configure that, and also allow push operations in case if you want just create only, so create one time only, or create and update, or create update and delete if you want for the items. The ordering is really important, so don't forget that you always need at setup of a module. At first, always you need to serialize the templates, and after that, just the content. So in example, in this case, as you see, I created some navigation settings in system. So at first you need practically to serialize the template for settings, and just after that serialize the system settings items. There you have also a rules option in case if you want to serialize just some items from one folder. So I created an example here, which is the articles. If you want just to serialize the articles, but you want to ignore the legacy from articles. So in this case, as you see, I ignored the legacy at first step because the order is important. And after that, I serialize the articles with item and descendants. So I will practically serialize all of the items except the legacy articles. And after that, there is the path, the star scope ignored, which practically ignores the other contents near the siblings of articles. At the rules, as you see, there are parameters, so practically the path, scope, alias, and allow push operation. And you can configure how do you prefer this. So tools for serialization in agenda, I said brief that for Sitecore content serialization, there are two options. The first is the Sitecore CLI, which is a headless. And there is also the paid UI tool, the Sitecore for Visual Studio, is similarly for TDS, practically the view of that. So the Sitecore CLI, it's a .NET Core tool. It's really well documented on the Sitecore official website about Sitecore content serialization. And also it's CI/CD friendly, don't forget this. So you can use it on Azure, TeamCity, everywhere. You just need to execute practically that commands for .NET Sitecore pull or push or etc. or with the packages also. So let's start with the Sitecore CLI demo. Just give me a second. So as a demo, I created just an empty SCS demo folder where practically I've just added here feature, metadata, and only just the modules practically. So I will want to serialize practically just these modules, and also here is the common and the SCS demo. So here I added here the txt file to me, just a note. Here I just execute some commands. Just give me a second. This script command that will be also available on the GitHub. I published it there, so you can use that. Practically execute the command lines. Yes, so I created successfully. I will add the source, but this is already available to me. So for this, I get this response. I will install Sitecore CLI. It was installed correctly. And after that, I will install the two plugins for publishing and serialization. Sorry, I execute step by step. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the Sitecore JSON file. Yes, so I will install the publishing. I will install the serialization. And after that, the last step is to log into your Sitecore instance. In my Sitecore instance, I already installed the Sitecore management service, but don't forget to install at your instance. At first step, you will require to be a login. You will log in and you will need to allow Sitecore API and offline access for serialization. Yes, allow. And after this, you will get back. So your login is complete. You can close the browser tab now. And for this .NET Sitecore app, sorry. So as you see, yeah. Here are the command lines: login, plugin, init, publish, search, serialization. These are the available commands. The Sitecore ser has practically the pull and the push. The pull, it means when you get on your local machine everything from Sitecore, and the push is when you push everything from your local machine into your Sitecore instance. So in this case, I will get from Sitecore everything. So as you see here, similarly for Unicorn, you have all of the ads. I get from Sitecore everything, every files. Just to show to you in my site, in my instance of Sitecore, the tree. Practically, as you see here, the templates, metadata, I had these created just a dummy templates here, so it's not big. And here, if I go here at source, it's already the serialization folder it was created, master, Sitecore, my preferred path. And here is the metadata and page title, SEO keywords, and also on the feature navigation, serialization master, Sitecore layout renderings, feature navigation footer, header, and also on templates, it's also serialized the header and footer with all of the fields practically. So, and you can also have the push method where you can push everything from your local machine into Sitecore instance. So just an example, if I modify something, so if I if I add an example here, don't know, you can also check, as you see, .NET side. And in this case, this covered after one change. So as you see, the test field is already serialized correctly. So it's quite really straightforward to do. And you have already the serialized items. Yeah, about Sitecore JSON file, which I copied. This is practically the solution configuration, which I forget here near the modules, because you need two types of configurations. One is the solution configuration, and one is the module configuration. The solution configuration this is. So here the wildcard I created on weighted source. Source practically here is the feature module. Here is the module name, practically the second one. And after that, here is the practically the feature metadata module JSON. And as I presented before, so practically these are the serializations. One more note here, don't forget that if you don't have in Sitecore items and you edit here in module, you will get an error. So an example, if I don't have renderings on metadata, and you edit here at module, it will return an error because there is no items to serialize in Sitecore. So just to make sure that when you create the module, I recommend to you always to create step-by-step the modules and execute for every module the serialization, because if you create all of the modules and then you will get messed up with all of the configurations after that. If you have any questions about this Sitecore headless tool, anybody?
I do have a question.
Yes.
How can you use this tool, or how can you use Sitecore serialization in a platform as a service deployment? Because I don't know, can you install it and do like a transparent sync like it was on Unicorn, or how do you do this?
So you need to practically for this for Azure we need to execute practically with Sitecore packages. There it was. Just give me a second. On my website, I reference this. There it was a page created for this. Where practically they created an Azure DevOps build pipeline. They created practically the Sitecore items package, as you see here. And after that, they just executed practically the creation of the Sitecore CLI. And after that, with configurations, they executed a PowerShell script, a step in PowerShell. And here at PowerShell, as you see here, it was the package install. And after that, they installed practically with this the Sitecore package with these parameters. Do you understand this?
Yeah, of course, but I wonder how this can be scaled or used in a container approach when, yeah, it will be deployed on Docker.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I don't use this in Docker until now. I just use this in Azure setup or TeamCity, where practically I execute these command lines as a PowerShell step of deployment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry for that.
And another question is, can this process of syncing of like you're getting the data or you're getting a pool and you get new items on your local machine, is there any process automated, or is there anything that you can do to automate this job?
Yeah, this is a minus for Sitecore content serialization. Currently, it can be done manually. So it's not so it doesn't has the functionality as Unicorn, the automatic serialization, unfortunately. So you need to execute this manually, always the Sitecore server.
Yeah, when I've used it, it was the same. I thought that changed, but
yeah, this is a difference between Unicorn, that there is no automatic publishing here.
And is there anything in Sitecore content management that indicates that this item is serialized or not, as it was with the later version of the Unicorn? There were some nice messages showing you
Yes, so
if it's serialized and where.
Yeah, I read some articles that Sitecore wants to extend anyway the Sitecore content serialization because currently it doesn't has also option to serialize user roles or users practically as Unicorn has, and they has on pipeline to integrate these functionalities also. Just it was not released yet, so it will be released in future. These functionalities.
Great, thank you, Gerhart.
Yeah.
One question: can be serialized security entities like roles, users, domains?
Yeah, this is not released yet. Yeah, about this site or before. So Sitecore roles, users, and these is not available. Currently, you have just Sitecore templates and content items, and from core also items, but users and roles are not available currently. Anybody else? Okay, so we can continue on this. So the next one is Sitecore for Visual Studio. It's UI similar to TDS. I think just on backend, particularly it's using the CLI practically. There is a UI for solution module configurations, and you have watch and automatic serialization. The automatic serialization practically is when you synchronize the items and you can watch it how they will be changed as a comparator module. So here, when you install the SVS, as you see here, you will get a new Explorer in Visual Studio. And here, practically, you have the visual view about the Sitecore content serialized modules. So as you see here, feature, basic content, navigation, products, and everything. You have a solution configuration, as you see, it's a visual, so you can set up the physical path and everything as it was for CLI, just it's not with JSON files. You practically from here, you can change the JSON files. And here is also the module configuration, how it is. So as you see, there is the name, serialization path, if you want to add references, or if you want to include order, the template renderings, etc. You can also have option for environment. So if you want to use multiple environments, so as you see in example, the default test, you can set up the host authority if you want to use multiple environments on your local, or to push to different environments. Here is the comparison tool. As you see, it's similarly for TDS. And the sync configuration. This is a screenshot from TDS website. And as you see here, it's the rule setup and the renderings and buttons, events. So yeah, I don't think I had installed, but my license, it was expired. And anyway, I prefer better the headless tool because it's for me, it's more fast to adjust just the JSON files. But anyone interested, you can install it to your own machine. As you see here are the rules editing the alias scope and allow push operation. And the next topic is the Sitecore content serialization and the Unicorn. So differences. So yeah, the difference is, as I mentioned before, the Unicorn, it's working with config files for configuration and the content serialization with JSON files. As I said before, and the question it was that there is no automatic synchronization on Sitecore content serialization. So you always, you need to do manual pull or push, depends on what you want. And also the user and the security roles are not released yet. They said, I saw in Stack Exchange and on community channel that it's on pipeline, so it will be released. So we are waiting for that. The sync all things, it's practically the .NET Sitecore ser push execute command. Both of them are using the .yaml files for serialization. And also one little change on Sitecore content serialization, that there is always generated .sc index file, which you don't need to practically deploy on your repository. It's generated always at every serialization because of, as I heard, there was a performance improvement there. So for this is generated this file, but you can exclude it from your repository. So, and the serialization, it will work without that also. And there is a bit difference between the Sitecore content serialization and Unicorn YAML files. I compared two of them, and as you see at the right side is the Unicorn serialized, and on the left side it's the Sitecore content serialization. On Sitecore content serialization, it was introduced the revision and the updated fields. Probably this is because to make sure that they are updated well. So if you want to migrate from Unicorn to Sitecore content serialization, keep in mind that probably you will need to adjust your YAML files for Sitecore content serialization with these fields. So yeah, this is practically the Sitecore content serialization. If you have any questions related to this. If not, I can continue. So the next and the last topic is the code generation with the Sitecore content serialization using Leprechaun. Leprechaun is a headless tool. It's a third-party open and free use tool. It can be generated multiple type of templates like Glassmapper, Fuse, SDS, and these tools. So I will present the Glassmapper. I saw on my projects it was the Glassmapper used mainly. It's a CI/CD friendly also. You can put in your project file also as a pre-built step-in example, or you can just execute from command line. How do you prefer? It's really well documented on the Leprechaun third-party site, also on the GitHub. And yeah, just let's start the demo. So as a presentation, Leprechaun has a solution configuration, as you see here at the tree. The configuration, it's from GitHub. What I needed to adjust practically, it was the modules. Similarly for Sitecore content serialization, here you need to set up the wildcard where it will be the modules. Here I set up the Sitecore Foundation ORM, which contains the Glass base. Practically this is the main class for Glass models. Here is the code generator where I specify the Glassmapper CS6, which is a configuration for models generated. And the output file, as you see here, it's a module. This is the module name. And also I've added at the end the Glass base. So it will be like metadata Glass base, navigation Glass base, etc. And here is practically the template predicate, that how it will be Sitecore layer module models. But yeah, you can adjust this, how do you prefer. About this configuration, it's really well documented on the GitHub, so don't forget that. Here is also, I included with Helix templates. For templates, it will be always generated the modules for templates. And so yeah, and also the config root directory, which in my case it was the repo SZS demo. And yeah, this is the main configuration for this. With this SCS demo, it will be available on the GitHub, and at the end of presentation, it will be also available. The Glassmapper SCS file, and just give me a second, I will open in Visual Studio for you. The Glassmapper CS is practically, which I mentioned, so it's practically the template for generating the Glass model, which it's looking on this way. So as you see here, it's auto-generated. Here you add the usings. If you want, you can extend how many models or tools you want to use for glass-based. Here is the for each where I go in every templates with namespaces, and I generate a summary for all of them. Here is the decorator for glass mapper, for Sitecore type. Here is practically the constants, as you see. Here is a class. This it will be the class, which it will has the fields. It's also an eyeglass. It's inheriting the eyeglass base at the end. And also there are some global namespaces in case they are inheriting some other models. Here is the interface generator, where, as you see, here is also the glass decorator. And here is also the virtual. Here is the fields which are available from Sitecore. You can specify if you want different type for them for serialization. And yeah, here is at the end the field names, field IDs, and everything. In my case, I just added at project. Sorry, yeah, at project CS Prosh file. I've added as a pre-build event, as you see here. It's a pre-build event, .NET Leprechaun. I execute just this at the end of, I mean, at the build, I just execute this Leprechaun, and then it will generate practically the models. Don't forget that if you generate a new model, it will not be included in your solution from start. It will just generate the class file, and that one you need to include in your solution practically. So in case of build, and just build a solution, and it will be, as you see, fancy Leprechaun, it will be displayed on the build, and it will be generated. Yeah, these are just dummy templates without any fields, so they are really well. There are warnings, and if you have any issues at serialization, it's really well documented at every code generation, the issues. So as you see here, it was generated the templates, it was emitted the templates. And as an example of a glass base, here is the metadata glass base. So as you see here, this is a public, here is the interface. It's generated by Leprechaun to the 0. Here are the fields for that. Here are the constants generated. And here is the class practically for that. And as you see here, it's inheriting the iMetadata and the glass base. The glass base, it's on foundation or here is the glass base. This is practically the base of glass mapper. This one, this is coming with glass mapper. So yeah, this is practically the Leprechaun integration. I recommend to use it. It's really straightforward, and it saves a lot of time with generating the field IDs, because a lot of times these field IDs and field names to make at your side is just 2 clicks at build, because yeah, with Sitecore content serialization, it's working really well, Leprechaun. Same as it was working with Unicorn before. So yeah, that was my presentation about Sitecore content serialization. And oh, sorry. So yeah, if you can contact me if you need more information about content serialization or Leprechaun or Glass Mapper or every other thing. On my website, I created the blog posts about detailed descriptions about this. If this it was because this it was a brief presentation about this. I'm available on Twitter, and also you can contact me if you have any issues about my email, or I'm available also on Sitecore community Slack channel as a Gerhart92. So yeah, Thank you, everyone. And here at the end, this presentation, it will be available for everyone. And here are the references practically for my project presented, SCS demo. There are the articles for Leprechaun or Sitecore content serialization. There is the reference for Leprechaun, where is the documentation for Leprechaun, the documentation for Sitecore Visual Studio, and for Sitecore content serialization official. And yeah, Vuhil helped me that article for screenshots about Sitecore for Visual Studio because for me it was not available before this presentation, but yeah, there was some good screenshots about SVS. So yeah, thank you very much. And yes, I will give to Sebi probably the presentation.
Yes, we will take a 5-minute break until we switch over in the room, and after that, Vlad will continue and share his presentation with all of us. Everyone, hope all of you're back. And Vlad, are you ready? We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, so welcome to our meetup, and thank you for your interest on Sitecore Moosend. My name is Vlad, and in May 2021, Sitecore acquired Moosend, and I was thinking to make a presentation about it because are not so many information about Moosend. Many people talk about the other acquisition like Order Cloud or Boxever, but yeah, Moosend looks like doesn't show so much interest from the people. I can tell you that I use it just for testing purpose. I just play it. I didn't use it in a real project. So feel free to ask question if you have something.
Just one thing, Vlad, you went back in time with this presentation a bit. On
Why?
the first slide, you have 2019.
Sorry. Copy paste.
Happens. Happens.
Yeah, I think it was the last one of the last meetups. I don't know when I presented in May 2000. I think it was in Budapest. Okay, so about me, I'm a freelancer solution architect. I am 6-time Sitecore MVP. I'm really a Sitecore Stack Exchange addicted guy. I'm there almost every day. Looks like this year together with Kristi Vulturar. I'm blogging from time to time on Sitecore Climber website, and this is my Twitter account. My agenda for today is small history of Moosend, the Moosend pricing, because I think many people are interested about the price, where you can find documentation and a demo. The demo will take a little bit of time. I don't have so many slides. Yeah, so Moosend is an email marketing service provider. The company was born in 2012. I think the founder was 3 guys from Greece, and it was acquired by Sitecore in May 2021. About the price. So if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, but I think that's not for the Sitecore client, it's free. So you can use it for example, we can use it for our meetups to send emails because it's free. We don't have 1,000 subscribers. and you can simulate on their site the price. If you have more than 200,000 subscribers, then you are an enterprise client, customer, and they will have a custom plan for you. So here on the Moosend pricing, you can simulate the price. For example, see here, I just go to 25K and 1 second, where is the price? Okay, strange, or? Oh, no, it's changing. So you can see here what is the price. But it's strange, looks like it was more than 50K, now it's a custom plan. You can see here when I make the presentation, I think it was more than 200K. So they changed it a few days ago. Okay, here is a comparison between their plans. So I'm not sure if now it's really accurate, if they change it. So you can see here, if you have less than 1,000, you have a lot of things like the others, but you are restricted just to 1,000 subscribers. For enterprise, you see that they offer you support, an account manager, priority support, and you can also integrate with SSO and SAML dedicated IP address. You can have it. So I think it's really interesting. About the documentation, so you can find a lot of documentation on academy.moosend.com. And Dylan Young has 6 or 7 presentation about Moosend. I talked with him. I was surprised that he blog and post video about Moosend, and yeah, we discussed a few times about it. Okay, the next one is the demo. So I will show you in the demo how to integrate Moosend on your website, how to create your first letter, how you customize, how you make lead generation using forms. And this one are really interesting. Sitecore marketing versus Moosend marketing list, and Sitecore segmentation versus Moosend segmentation, because I think time to market and how much time you consume to make a simple marketing list is really important. Yeah, so for the demo, I prepare Sitecore Lighthouse demo, and I integrate here the Moosend. So first time you need to connect to the Moosend. So I create an account. And to integrate your website, you just need to go here in the top right to the websites. And I added a new website. If I open here, I just notice this website ID. And if I scroll down, I have a custom installation, and I need to add this script into my website. You can also integrate with Magento, install with segment. I don't know exactly what is segment, and you have here another option. So I believe in the future they will have something integrate with Sitecore. See, they don't have it yet. So I have this script, and if I go to the global presentation, partial design, global metadata in my A6A site, I just put here a Moosend script. So you can see here the MooTrack ID is this one and is the same like here. If I open my website, I'm showing you here. I'm not sure if I publish, and on the CD server it's so this one, this solution is running on Docker. Okay, if I go to the view source of the website, I should see here the ID from the Moosend. Or I can check here. Yes, so you see here I have this. So using this one, it starts the analytics on this website using Moosend. And for example, you can identify contacts because they offer also some JavaScript libraries, and that it's really easy to integrate. Questions, if you have? The next thing that I will show you is how to create the first newsletter. So we are on the Moosend site. We just go here, we create a new campaign. We will say a regular campaign. Let's name it first site. Newsletter. Yeah, so in the subject, we can write something here. We can add also some tokens like receipt name. We can add some emoticons. We can have a preview text. We can have here a sender and reply to. We can choose the mailing list. I will go forward. I'm not choosing now anything, or I will choose this one. And here we choose the type of the campaign, if it's HTML or plain text. Yeah, it's HTML. Go next. And now we go to the editor. The editor, I think it's really, really editor friendly. You have here the helper grid. I think it's a bit slow. And you can choose here some containers, but yeah, this one are the helper grid, you see? And you can add here, what do you want? I created before a template library. I will not stay here and create a new one. Yeah, I have one, visit Cluj. Yes, I want to use it. And I created this one. I think it takes half an hour, maybe, or less, to add everything here. We can check the mobile newsletter. We can also send the test. Yes, I'm sending here to the Mailinator account. Okay, I have here Mailinator. This one was sent 1 hour before, but I will receive it. So if you go to this link, you can access it and view it. But I think it will take like 5 minutes or something like that. They offer like, I don't know how many, you see a lot of templates. And I think you can reuse and make your own templates really easy. For example, this one with Visit Cluj, I think I get a template and I just reuse it. Okay. For example, they also have, oh, you see, I already received it and looks really nice. If you remember on Sitecore XCM, you have to build from scratch all these containers, all these components. So it took a lot of time just to build something simple. Because you didn't have like components for social links. Okay. So I will press cancel now. Okay. You can also schedule delivery. That's pretty nice feature. Okay, you can also, I will continue with the forms, lead generation using forms. So here, if you go to lead generation, you have subscription form. And for example, I create one simple one, really easy. And I integrate this one in my solution. It generates an ID. And this one I want to integrate into Sitecore. So if I go here in the Contact Us page, I just add, let me check, how is it? A plain HTML, which is here. And I just add this ID form. If I go to the Contact Us and I think it's this page. Yeah, the design is not the best, but I can subscribe to one marketing list. I think I configure in Moosend to every user which is subscribed to be added in a marketing list. So for example, I just write here, I press subscribe, and if I go here and I'm checking one of the mailing list, is this one. You can see last day change. And if I check the members, you notice that 1 minute ago, I subscribed this user. Yeah, so I think it's really straightforward. You can customize to have a really nice form, not like my form, and to be integrated nice in your website. Now I will show you Sitecore marketing list versus Moosend marketing list. Do you remember, can you write in the chat how much time it took to create 2 new fields for your marketing list and to import into Sitecore from a CSV file? If you have this case in the past. No, nobody. Yeah, let me show you. 1 second. If you remember, when you have to import contacts from a marketing list, you had to follow all these steps. So you have to add a predefined facet, and then you have to write some code, modify some settings, use the iFacet mapper. Yeah, it was really a lot of work. After I think you create the facet, you need to create the model and deploy on the Xconnect. So it was, yeah, really a lot of work. I will show you now how is it in Moosend. So I just go to the mailing list and I say create a new list. And let's name it first marketing list. Save it. I will choose batch action, and here I'm choosing the import members into a list. I choose import from a CSV file. You have here different options. And I create this one. You can choose here a custom separator. For now, I have comma my separator. Now you have the data mapping. Okay, and let me show you my list. So you see here it's a number, first name, last name, an email address, and the favorite cinema. I just added this one, and he knows he separates really nice. And here I choose So I can create a new custom field. For example, I will create a new custom field for ID. It's a text. I don't have other option here. This one is a name. This one is a new custom field like last name. This one is the email. He will know that this format is an email. And here I will create a new one like favorite cinema. Okay. I'm pressing next. Yes. What is this one? It goes like this. So now it's in a queue and let's see here. So looks like it was imported. Yeah, we need to wait for the email. Yeah, so I think it's really straightforward and easy to use it. You don't have to add a lot of code, a lot of configuration, and it's really easy to do it. You can see here all the members. Yeah, so you can see here the name, you can see the new fields. So it's pretty nice. Okay, I didn't get the email. And now I want to segment that list. If you remember in Sitecore, if you want to segment a list, you need to go here to create a new facet. You need to register the facet in a collection model. You have to deploy the new facet in the Connect servers. You need to create a condition class, so it's a lot of work. Okay. If I go here to the segments, these ones I created yesterday. I can delete them. And I will create, no. Here, I can create the segments for it. Let's name it favorite cinema. We add the criteria. So we can say favorite cinema is, and here I have all the options from my list. If you remember, I have something like this: Victoria, Cinema de Piccoli, Astra, Cinema City. So I will choose Victoria, save the segment. And then from here, we can copy members to another list, export to a CSV, export to a Excel. For example, I will choose export to CSV. And I think that's my main user, and that's why it's sending there. Let me check. I'm waiting. But you can see here the subscription operation that I did before. So 100 entries were processed and were added to the first marketing list. And I also receive here an email with the CSV that I exported. So I can press here and it's saved like a zip file. Okay. One second to check where is it. It looks like unzip doesn't work. I'm just opening now. Yeah, so I just unzip it. And I see the favorite cinema. It adds some new columns here, like mobile, source, status. That means all the users are active. Yeah, so I think it's a really nice product, really easy to integrate, and yeah, you can use it anywhere, not just on Sitecore. If you have any questions.
Danny has one here in the room.
Can you use this list for personalization somehow in Sitecore, or can you import them, or it's totally disconnected from Sitecore, just the form and that's it, like all the other?
This one, the Moosend has some personalization, but I didn't use it. Let me show you. Where it was. Yeah, so you see they have some personalization, but I didn't play with the Moosend personalization because I think it was enough 30 minutes for the presentation. So they have something. This list, for example, yeah, you can import it. And what is pretty nice with Moosend, they have API, so you can call to send a list using some APIs.
But at the moment, there's no straightforward integration with Sitecore except that JavaScript, right?
Yeah, I think this one is really straightforward. How do you want more simpler?
A Sitecore module to integrate with it somehow.
There is some APIs from Moosend point of view to integrate with Sitecore personalization, like APIs with webhooks. Or do you know something about that?
They have, this one.
Oh, fine. Because, in example, when I integrated with HubSpot, it was with these APIs, you can integrate them in Sitecore, but you need to generate them for XConnect format and everything, the XConnect models and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see here it has something.
Yeah.
To get the subscribers, so Danny, I think it's possible.
So
because, you just take the subscriber from here and integrate into Sitecore.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I mean, really, really easy to use it. I mean, when I make the presentation, I was not blocked anywhere. It was just searching and finding.
So it's straightforward to use it.
Yes. If you have other questions. No, nobody.
Maybe Goran, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Very good presentation. Yeah, I'm very interested in Moosend and use that instead of EXM. That would be very interested indeed. So
yeah, so I think the main advantage of Moosend is time to market, because you notice it was really easy to do all the simple things that you make in Sitecore. I'm not sure if with XCM you made real more complex things than these ones.
no, but as you say, it's the simple stuff really most of the time. So this is great.
Good.
Didn't you have something with a form or something? Or did I miss that? In your presentation, you said something with form.
Yeah, so I show you here where it was. Where it was.
On the contact page, no? That one.
Yes, on the contact page.
Okay.
So
did you do it like an action, a new action then in the Sitecore forms, or? So
no, it's not an action. This form was generated from here.
I
so
missed
this
that.
one. Okay. So you see this one is the form.
That's really smart.
It's just embedded.
Yes.
On Sitecore.
You do the form in Moosend
and then integrate with in Sitecore using generated JavaScript with an ID. Pretty good.
You just write here. Hello, Goran.
So no need to Sitecore forms at all.
Save it.
Yeah, everything is on Moosend side.
Draft saved. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not editable from Experience Editor also for this.
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
You go to Moosend, but how often do you change the forms?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay, proceed.
fun time.
I'm not sure what are that ones.
But this is only for Moosend, these forms, aren't they? I mean, could we use it to other things than just
Yeah, so this form you can
instead of
use it.
Sitecore forms? I mean, like this could be
Yes.
a, yeah.
I didn't play to see what kind of fields we can add, but I just made that one, the simple one. Okay, let me check. And if I go here, I hope to see hello Goran.
Yeah.
I think it changed the ID.
Yeah, the ID is reference for the form.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's changing. I don't think. I mean, yeah, I have just 16 RAMs. That's why it's so slow. And it's on Docker.
So this would also work in headless then, like Sitecore JSS or something, probably. Or yeah, it should.
It should, because it's a JS script with the data.
Yeah. So bye Sitecore forms and EXM, and you will use Moosend instead.
Hey, come on. I'm not sure about about the performance when you have a lot of contacts, how many you can send per day, what SMTP it's used behind. Let me refresh this one, or let me check. Yeah, it's strange that it's so slow now.
But it's okay. I mean, I understand. So.
No, I'm just curious if it's changing. Yes, you see?
Yeah, nice.
And if I just write here, Goran at Mailinator, and I subscribed, and if I go to the mailing list,
Could it be possible to hook into a, or not hook in, you know, call an event, you know, track, you know, register a goal or something. User blah 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 is now registered. So next time you visit that page, you will not be shown this registration subscription form.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's possible, but I don't know how. But I will check, and I will send you.
Yeah, no, it's not. But Looks
Okay.
good. Great.
Thank you. So I think that's the biggest advantage of Moosend, time to market. Okay. Thank you for your time. That's it from me. If you have other questions, just contact me on Slack or Twitter or where do you want. And I will give you more information.
Cool. Thank you, Vlad, for the presentation. And thank you all for joining us today. Somewhere tomorrow or in the next days, we'll publish on YouTube the recording and all the slides from the guys and the code from Gerhart as well. And see you next time. Probably we'll do we'll probably do another meetup next month. And yeah, if you have any ideas or you are willing to present us something, just contact us.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you. Have a nice
Have a
evening.
great night.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.